Somebody please get a straight jacket and put it on Donald. He needs an involuntary psychiatric 5150 hold. This is what he's posting all last night. He's posting the fireworks show from July 4th, which was awful, by the way. And he's saying, greatest fireworks show ever. Here's to 250 more, America. And you all remember that fireworks show where Trump just blew up all the fireworks at the same time in Washington, D.C. So all you saw is smoke. Why was he posting this on the evening of July 27th while the Bab el-Mandab Strait is closed, while the Strait of Hormuz is closed, while 3 oil refineries in Saudi Arabia are blown up, while Iran has rejected all talks with him and he's pretending that Iran so desperately wants to make a deal while our economy is suffering? By the way, he then reposts from July 5th, Howard Lutnick showing a Trump gold card, and Trump is reposting that the evening of July 27th. We already know that like nobody's bought this Trump gold card, which gets you like immediate like citizenship status if you just pay $5 million or $10 million or whatever the hell it is. But why are you holding up a Trump gold card and reposting that while you have treasury yields at record highs, while Trump is crashing the economy? That's what you're posting. But he just kept on doing post after post like this one, taking down the scaffolding around the re-gilded arts of war sculptures. Okay, so while your regime is ripping away healthcare from the American people, shutting down rural hospitals, taking away critical services from the American people to, I don't know, give it to Netanyahu and to the military-industrial complex to blow up little girls in Manab and to engage in other war crimes, this is what you're posting? The re-gilded arts of war sculpture? Nobody wants any of this. Then he posts a weird photo of himself pretending that he's digging a ditch near the White House. I'm sure you're the one digging, Donald. Yeah, great post. Then he reposts Paul Ingrassia, one of his top MAGA sycophants. And this was his post last night. The most electrifying, elevating firework display. And what's your obsession with the freaking firework display from July 4th? I mean, again, some of the most deranged behavior imaginable. Then he posted this last night. Confirm Todd Blanche without delay. This is no time for juvenile political theater. Juvenile political theater? You have turned the Department of Justice into a criminal racketeering scheme. Y'all are involved in covering up child sex trafficking rings. You're settling billion-dollar cases with yourself, giving yourself super pardons to prevent audits of your disgusting and despicable past of not paying taxes. That will confirm Todd Blanche, everybody, while you create slush funds for January 6th insurrectionists and refuse to put anything in writing that you are taking away the slush fund so you can have a loophole to potentially reinstitute it. But all we know is that you just care about not paying your taxes as you quid pro quo grifted billions of dollars, about $4 to $5 billion you made that we know about. But in reality, that's just what we're seeing disclosed. You probably made tens of billions of dollars pilfering from the American people. Oh, and then this loser, this post after post after post, right? This is what he posted last night. The failing New York Times, after 10 years of harassment, slander, and libel, just failed again in their desperate attempt to have our powerful defamation lawsuit against them dropped. I mean, a powerful defamation case. So Trump previously sued the New York Times for $15 billion, alleging decades of defamation against him. $15 billion, right? This is different than the $10 billion lawsuit against the BBC. It's different than the $10 billion lawsuit against the Treasury Department and the IRS. He just sues everybody, 10 billion, 15 billion. And he says, I'm so emotionally distressed. You've harmed my reputation so much that I'm entitled to $10 billion, despite the fact that he's made more money in the Oval Office than he's ever did by multiples of multiples of multiples, destroying the livelihoods of Americans and pilfering the money for himself. But he's bragging in this post that he lost the case, right? The judge granted the New York Times motion to strike. So the New York Times won. And then, as is commonplace in litigation, although lots of people criticize the American legal system for this, courts often give the losing party what's called leave to amend. One more shot to amend your lawsuit, just so courts don't throw it out right away, just in case there's any defects in the complaint. Now, Trump has always abused leave to amend because he drags out the case and tries to cause the other side to expend lots of money by delay. So what happened here is Trump lost. Okay, but he got leave to amend to correct his defective complaint and has one more try. So Trump's bragging about that as a win. That's, I guess, like bragging that, Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz right now, so you think that's a win? Or when the MOU was in place, 10% of the traffic that takes place now than what took place before the war started. Now it's 10% of what existed before. That's what you're declaring a win. Or when you do a so-called deal with China, when they buy 10% of the amount of soybeans they did under former President Biden, you declare that a win. That's your idea of losing the lawsuit, but getting leave to amend. That's what you're making a social media post about. Again, it's so utterly pathetic. As we requested, the highly respected judge has called for an updated complaint. Yeah, it's called an amended complaint, you idiot. An updated complaint, which will lay out in extreme detail all the ways in which the Times has repeatedly and consistently acted with actual malice in defaming me and my family and our great MAGA movement and America itself. We will continue to hold the Times and their comrades in the mainstream media accountable for publishing, promoting, and dealing in fake news. Have you ever met a bigger whiner and loser and more pathetic, vile creature than this? This is what he's posting last night. Oh, it gets worse. It gets worse. So you all know the status of SpaceX right now. It's lost like 40, what did it lose? It's lost a massive amount of its value in the past, since it was announced, 43.8%. It's lost in its value. It's now at 113. It was once at like 200 or something when it pumped and then it dumped. So now the SpaceX CEO, Gwynne Shotwell, is posted the following, and Donald Trump reposted. My husband and I are honored and thrilled to participate in the Invest America program and gift a share of our SpaceX stocks to a Trump account for each of more than 2 million children across our great nation. Every American child under 18 can benefit from having a Trump account, but our gift specifically goes to the accounts of children ages 11 and 17 that live in areas with lower average household incomes, with a bit more emphasis for those that live near our central Texas home. So now what Trump is doing is he's having his rich oligarch friends either donate their shares or donate money, probably for massive write-offs, into the Trump account program, which then goes to buy the stocks, basically. And now the children have to have like SpaceX? What if you don't want SpaceX stock? I mean, what for all of the children that are suffering? Just think about this. The Trump regime is basically destroying the lives of poor people, transferring the wealth to rich people. Then the rich people are basically saying they're going to get deductions by putting stock or by putting potential money in so-called Trump accounts, which then have to buy the stock, basically, and to try to pump the stock up. And then Donald Trump will repost you to try to help your stock. Okay. And that's what they call capitalism. I mean, that sounds like one of the most bizarre, and I could say it other things, schemes to me as well. And Trump keeps on posting SpaceX stocks, the SpaceX stocks gift, the SpaceX. Okay. Pretty coincidental. I don't think so. That as the SpaceX stock is absolutely crashing right now, that Donald Trump keeps posting SpaceX all throughout the night. And here's the devious and horrific thing about SpaceX. They had NASDAQ change the rules so that SpaceX was put on the NASDAQ 100 like in the first 15 days of trading. So your 401k, your mutual fund, without you even wanting it, may have been forced to buy, and probably was forced to buy, SpaceX, which is now bringing down potentially your 401k or whatever funds that you may have invested in, because it was forced to buy SpaceX because the normal rules required months and months and months to see the performance of a stock. So it wouldn't get forced into these funds. But nope, Elon Musk and Donald Trump changed the rules. Huh? Good old capitalism, eh? No, I mean, you want to talk about the oligarchy just screwing hardworking people and saddling you with SpaceX stock? It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, and then Donald Trump posts, John Thune should not allow the United States Senate to leave town until it passes the Save America Act, or far better still, terminates the filibuster, where Republicans can then quickly pass everything they've ever dreamed of, including a full and deep-throated Save America Act, the budget, and the ever-looming debt ceiling disaster. 1929 exclamation point. First off, what a sicko. Who refers to any law as a deep-throated law? What the hell? It's a deep-throated law, you sick thing. What do you talk? Deep-throated law? Freaking weird. And then he says, the budget and the ever-looming debt ceiling, 1929 exclamation point, 1929. Just throwing Great Depression references there. Who do you think is creating the debt ceiling crisis, Donald? Who's in charge, Donald? Who's in the Oval Office posting demented messages like this all throughout the night instead of doing your damn job? Okay, you've added more debt than any president by far. Enough of these idiot MAGA saying, I'm a deficit hawk. I'm a conservative. I'm a China hawk. I'm a hawk on this. I'm fiscally conservative. No, you're not. Y'all are the most reckless people imaginable. Donald Trump's doing exactly what he did to bankrupt his businesses with endless amounts of debt that crushed his businesses. He's doing it with the country. He's running up the debt like crazy right now. The deficit is expanding. Our debt's going up trillions and trillions of dollars each year. And you see what he's setting up when this house of cards crashes. And folks, it's crashing. What does he say? We had the Save America Act. We were so close. I had the plan. I was doing 4-dimensional chess and it was going to be so perfect. But then the Republican rhinos and the Democrats and the rhinos, they got together and they screwed my Save America. And that's why 1929 happened. I was going to do it. Why do you think right now, if you turned on I'll do a video on this, so watch my videos every 90 minutes this morning or so. But why do you think state regime media, Fox, is spending all of its time attacking Dr. Fauci and Dr. Fauci's diary? Because they want to go and blame everything on the last season of this dystopian apprentice shit show, the Fauci. And that's what Trump is. He screws it all up and blame the scientist, to blame the doctor. Now, what's he doing right here? He's going to screw it all up. He's going to destroy what do you think's going to happen? You tariff the whole world like everybody warned you not to do. You go into this catastrophic and unlawful war, which everybody warned you not to do, other than Netanyahu. And this is the predictable freaking outcome. Tariffs are taxes on the American people. When you go and get involved in catastrophic wars, which all the former presidents, as it relates to Iran, avoided for a reason and didn't get dragged into this Netanyahu war, this is the outcome that everybody warned against. The Strait of Hormuz would be closed. The Bab el-Mandab Strait would be closed, okay? Supply chains would be destroyed. Oil would surge. And now, what Trump and Treasury Secretary Bessent have been doing also, they've been manipulating the markets, massive short positions when it comes to crude, and then they would release the strategic petroleum reserves to the global market. We have the all-time lows of the strategic reserves. The straits, by the way, are still closed right now, and the oil trade, based on the way idiotic corporate news reports all of this, is like, I guess they're having peace talks. Seems like there's a productive lull. What are you Iran has made it very damn clear. They are not ever giving up control over the Strait of Hormuz, and they will never allow the United States to use the southern route without Iran's permission and without Iran's consent. Iran has made that very, very clear, and they will keep hitting tanker after tanker after tanker. And what's happened in the past 48 hours, which again, our corporate news basically ignores, I've been covering it here. The Houthis of Yemen responded to Saudi Arabia attacking the Sana'a airport, and the Houthis hit the reserves, the refineries rather, all the way in the east, all the way in the west, all the way in the east. The pipeline that connects both sides of Saudi Arabia. If Saudi Arabia wanted to try to do an end run around the Strait of Hormuz, boom. Destroyed, damaged right now. Fires at all those refineries. And, the market's like, whatever. I guess corporate news is saying that Donald Trump but perhaps he's doing a deal. No, he's not. There's no deal that's going to resolve Iran's threshold issues, which they've made clear after beating the United States over and over again in this war. That's what happened. The U.S. ran out of munitions. The U.S. bases got destroyed. Donald Trump is an idiot, and he should never have been involved in this catastrophic war in the first place, okay? Iran ain't giving up control over the Strait of Hormuz. They made that very, very, very clear. And the message, if you're Iran or you're anybody else, it is develop a nuclear weapon, because Donald Trump is always going to attack you if you don't. That seems to be the message that Donald Trump is sending to everybody. And then you have Donald Trump out there giving that speech yesterday saying this is the greatest year. He's in Michigan. This was the single greatest year in the history of the country. Really? Again, I don't care if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you're an independent, who you hate politics. I don't like politics. You like politics. This was not the single greatest year in our country and the economy. Listen to what he says, though. Play this clip.
There are good years, bad years. We're having the single greatest year we've ever had as a country. We're not going to let these people destroy it.
Again, what a liar, what a loser. Then he goes, I inherited this mess from Biden. This was a mess I inherited. No, Biden handed you what was referred to as a Goldilocks economy. That was the envy of the world. That doesn't mean it was working for everybody. There was a lot of work that was needed to take place. But Biden handed you the baton with things trending in the right direction. We would have had 2% inflation, interest rate cuts, massive economic growth, the manufacturing boom that Biden left the country with. There would have been the increase, the actual investment in the chips, with semiconductors, with the CHIPS Act, not what Trump's doing, taking control over companies like Intel in exchange for the congressionally appropriated funds to spur chip innovation. And we wouldn't be giving away our semiconductor classified information to the United Arab Emirates and China. But here's Trump whining like the little pathetic baby that he is. Here, play this clip.
Hard to beat. And it was just announced that inflation is dropping at the fastest rate in more than 6 years. We're dropping it. I inherited this mess. I inherited an open border where 25 million people came in. Many of these people were criminals, murderers, people from jails, people from mental institutions. I inherited that. We've got a lot of them out, and we're getting a lot of them out. We have to.
And then Trump looks to the audience and says, the remaining people in the MAGA cult, who should frankly be ashamed of being there. Honestly, if you were there and you're on the screen right now, you should take a look at yourself and what an idiot you look like being there, for real. Because Trump goes, I'm better for all of you than your dad and your mom. I'm better for you than your parents were to you. What a sick thing to say. Here, play this clip.
Mary, I hate to say it, you wouldn't have an auto industry right now if they got elected. You wouldn't have an auto industry. But I don't know what happened to the guy. Somebody said he got fired, but I can tell you, the people that count, those people love Trump. Because I've done more for you than your parents, okay? Your parents are good. I'm not going to knock your parents, but I have been better to you than your parents. That I can tell you. And they would agree with me. Wherever they may be, they would agree.
And then with all of this in the background, we learn, what have we been telling you here on the MeidasTouch Network for a very long time now? The Trump regime is hiding the casualties. And I saw in the comments, Ben, you're being hyperbolic. No one else is saying that. What do you mean they're hiding the casualties? I said, I'm looking at the bases. I'm showing you the containerized barracks that have been blown up in Jordan, in Kuwait, in Qatar, in Syria, in Erbil, Iraq. Okay, I'm showing you the hangars. I'm showing you the equipment that's been destroyed by Iran. Look, the Patriot interceptors and the THAADs aren't working. Where are they? Or this one's going up and then boom, the ballistic missile goes right around it and hits the target. I'd show it to you. I'd say, guys, there are people who are either getting killed or seriously injured. And sure enough, now the injury count by the Trump regime, they say it's like 624 to 640 injured, but they now move the injuries from the past 12 days to other events where they've changed the topic in the defense casualty analysis system to overseas operation, not epic fury. So they think they could hide it there. By the way, I believe the casualty number of injured, I don't think I'm exaggerating. I think it's between 3,000 and 5,000. That's what I think the real accurate number is as I assess the containerized barracks that have been hit and the areas that have been hit. You know, if you're around that area, just the sound could cause a traumatic brain injury. You know, and then the Trump regime's like, minor concussion. It ain't a minor concussion when a Shahid drone and a ballistic missile slams into containerized barracks that are like the back of a pickup truck or the back of one of those trucks that you see in the street, containerized, like the containers. No, these are traumatic brain injuries taking place. Finally, let me leave you with this. You know, Trump has continued to mock Dylan Mulvaney, very influential transgender woman influencer that the Trump regime continues to mock. And during the speech, or whatever how you want to call it, the disaster that Trump did at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, he was mocking Dylan Mulvaney. Caitlin Collins, you look like Dylan Mulvaney. Okay, why are you mocking Caitlin Collins? Why would you be mocking Dylan? Why are you implying that Dylan Mulvaney is very happy with the way she looks? And why are you bullying? Why are you bullying everybody? Dylan Mulvaney responded to Trump mocking her. Here's what Dylan Mulvaney said. Let's play it.
Maybe being publicly mocked and criticized by this administration is actually like the greatest compliment of all, because it puts me in the company of some of the most brilliant, empathetic people in our world today. But I do still wonder, why is it so important to them that I don't find success? What is it that I have that they don't? Oh my God, freedom. I am free in a way that they will never have the privilege to experience. And they want to use their power to take away my freedom. But what they don't understand is that my freedom has zero contingency on what they can provide for me. Because my freedom is fully dependent on the moment that I acknowledged my real authentic self in every day since. And sharing that with the world, it's just icing on the cake. But they don't want me to be able to share that, because it would mean young people realizing that if someone like me can be themselves and find success and freedom, then they can find success and freedom for themselves too.
Powerful words indeed. Powerful words indeed. Everybody hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate you.
Before you go, our book, WTF America, is available for pre-order now. It's the story of how we got here and how we fight our way back. To pre-order, scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.